Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Monika and my absent number is 24. In this course, Curriculum and Material Development, I will try to explain some materials to you all. Our materials today are: the first, what a syllabus is; second, part of an ELT syllabus; third, kompetensi dasar or basic competence; and fourth, social function, text structure, and language features; and fifth, learning outcome indicators. First, I will explain about what is a syllabus. A syllabus is a learning plan for a particular subject or group of subjects that includes competency standards, basic competencies, indicators, subject learning, assessment, time allocation, and learning resource. Next, part of an ELT syllabus. The syllabus in the education unit level curriculum consists of several components as follows: subject competency standards, basic competency, learning outcomes indicators, subject matter, learning activities, time allocation, appraisal, learning facilities and resources. Is what is the basic competence? Basic competence is the minimum ability in each subject that must be achieved by students. The basic competence in the syllabus serve to direct the teacher regarding the targets that must be achieved in learning. For example, being able to resolve oneself with the environment and so on. Basic competence is a reference for developing subject matter, learning activities, and graduate competency standards for assessment. Basic competence are formulated to achieve core competencies. The formulation of basic competencies is developed by taking into account the characteristics of students, initial abilities, and the characteristic of a lesson. Subjects as a source of content to master competencies are open and not always organized based on highly oriented disciplines. Basic competencies are content or competencies consisting of attitude, knowledge, and skill that are sourced using core competencies that must be mastered by students. These competencies are developed by taking into account the characteristics of students, initial abilities, and the characteristics of a subject. Next, where are they derived from? Basic competency formulation is developed by paying attention to the characteristics and abilities of learners and the characteristics of subject. The contents of basic competency, the process of analyzing the basic competence of subject as stated in the content standard. So pay attention to the following. Order based on the hierarchy of disciplines concept or the level of material difficulty. The interrelationship between standard of competence and basic competence and the subject, and the interrelationship between standard of competence and basic competence in the subject. The Likewise, the study of basic competence is the same as the study of competency standard. And social functions, text structure, and language. A. Social function. The social function of a report text is to describe the way things are with reference to a range of natural, man-made, and social phenomena. B. Text structure. Number one, classification. It is a general statement of the phenomenon being described. Usually, it consists of the definition and classification of the phenomenon. Number two, description. It provides important facts about the phenomenon being described. If the phenomenon being described is an animal, the fact includes appearance, habitat, food, behavior, life cycle, and movement. If it is an object, the facts include appearance, part uses, function, history, climate, and geography. C. Language features. Number one, present tense, mostly simple present tense. Number two, general noun. Number three, technical terms. Number four, relating verb. Number five, action verb. And number six, a topic sentence in each paragraph. Learning outcome indicators. The theory and indicator of learning outcome in general learning outcome include knowledge, attitude, and skills. Learning outcome that students will get after pursuing their learning experience or teaching and learning process. The process of teaching and learning outcomes are interconnected because in teaching and learning there are goals to be safe. Students who initially do not know become aware, and from not understand to understand. Based on this explanation, it was concluded that learning outcomes are the level of humanity that students have in accepting, rejecting, and assessing the information obtained in the teaching and learning process. In the national education system, the formulation of educational goals using the depth of learning outcomes from Benjamin Bloom, which broadly divides it into three realms, namely cognitive realms, affective realms, and psychomotor realm. Number one, cognitive realms. The cognitive realms is concerned with intellectual learning outcomes consisting of six aspects, namely knowledge or memory, understanding, application, analysis, synthetic, and evaluation. The first two aspects are called low level cognitive, and the next four aspects include high level cognitive. Number two is affective realms. The affective realms is concerned with attitudes and values. Some experts say that a person's attitude can be predicted to change when a person has a high level of cognitive mastery. Assessment of effective learning outcomes receive less attention from educators. Educators value the cognitive realms more solely. The type of effective learning outcomes appear in learners in a variety of behavior, such as attention to listen, disciplines, motivation to learn, respect for teachers and classmates, learning habits, and social relationships. There are several types of effective REM categories as a result of learning. Number three is psychomotor learning. Psychomotor learning results appear in the form of individual skills and acting abilities. Factors that influence learning outcome. The factor that influence learning outcome vary widely. Surya Brata said that factors that affect learning outcome are divided into two, namely factors that come from outside the student, which includes non-social and social factors, as well as factors that come from within the student, namely psychological and psychological factors. A non-social factor in learning natural. Environment is the physical environment around children in the form of various natural phenomena and environmental conditions where children live. The natural environment will have a big impact on children's learning outcome. If environmental conditions support the child learning process, it can be ascertained that the child learning outcomes will be maximal. B. Psychological factor in learning. Psychological factors are factors related to a person's physical condition or a person's physical condition. This factor is an innate factor in an individual attached to himself and partly characteristic of him. C. Psychological factors. In learning, psychological factors affect learning outcomes include everything related to a person's mental state. Physical aspects or obligation are no less important in learning with physical aspects. Okay, I think that's all explanation from me. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a nice day.